Good day, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am Erica Pedragosa, and I am with my partner, Sean Lloyd Pareño, and we're here today to talk to you about the Chapter 6, the why and how of school and community partnership. But before we discuss the why and how of school and community partnership, here are the learning outcomes of this chapter. So you should be able to explain what school and community partnership means, explain the legal and sociological basis of school and community partnerships, and you can also cite examples of school community partnerships. Now let's proceed to the opportunities for school community partnership. But what does a partnership means? A partnership is a collaborative relationship between an organization, and the purpose of this relationship is to work toward shared goals through a division of labor that all parties agree on. So when we say a partnership, it doesn't only about a business operation, but it can also about the relationship of a school and a community, because school and community are connected with each other so that they can build a good partnership. So in short, partnership implies two parties helping each other and both parties benefit from it. So what does it mean? This means that if a school community partnership exists, both parties benefit from the relationship. Like for example is the school and community partnership. It shall present what communities can do for schools and what schools can do for the communities. But what can a community do for schools? Here are examples of what a community can do for schools. Number 1 is Brigada Eskwela. This program engages all education stakeholders to contribute their time, effort, and resources in ensuring that public school facilities are set in time for the forthcoming school opening. So, this Brigada Eskwela takes place more or less 2 weeks before classes begin in June. And the slogan of Brigada Eskwela is Bayanihan para sa Paaralan. It emphasizes the country's collective efforts in promoting collaboration for safe living and addressing social issues and concerns in schools, at homes, and in the community. So this means that this is the contribution of community to the schools, because this program mobilizes or brings together 1,000 of parents, alumni, civic groups, teachers, students, and individuals who volunteer their times and skills to do classroom repairs, maintenance work, and clean up of schools. The second one is the curriculum development. This means it is use of community resources for learning. Knowledge doesn't only exist in school, but it also can be taken everywhere, like in the community, which is the community resources. Like for example is a museum. Imagine the interaction that occur as a small group of students experiments with an interactive museum exhibit. They talk about what they see and what they know relating to what they are doing in the museum to what they have learned in and out of the class. Another example is going on a field trip. They can learn a lot of things based on their experiences. And the last one is interviewing an old man about their life from the past, like their life when the World War II was happened. So there's an information come from this community or a certain society that can really help to improve the learnings of a student. The third one is work experience programs. These programs is a business establishment and offices in the community that can serve as training ground for the learners. A concrete example is the work immersion required of senior high school students. In this work immersion, students are given the opportunity to work in relevant establishments or offices in the community to help develop in them the competencies, work ethics, and values relevant to pursuing further education and or joining the world of work. Partner offices for immersion provide senior high school students with these opportunities. Like number one is to become familiar with the workplace. Second one, for employment simulation. And the third one is to apply their competencies in areas of specialization, applied subjects in authentic work environment. In this school-community partnership, the school can fulfill what curriculum requires and may improve on their curriculum based on community feedback. It enables the students to undergo hands-on work experience, while community establishments contribute to the formation of graduates who are more ready for life and more equipped for the world of work. Business establishments or any world of work in the community are the ultimate beneficiaries of these graduates who have been more prepared through work immersion. So this means that there are a lot of work or job waiting to the fresh graduates who have been prepared or having a good performances through their working immersion. And some schools call this service learning since it actively involves students in a wide range of experiences which benefit students and the community at the same time, fulfilling the requirements or a curriculum. The fourth one is the remediation and enrichment classes. Parents and retired teachers may be involved in the school reading, remediation, and learning enrichment programs. So this is done for the students who have lacked or who wasn't be able to take some particular subject before they can go on to the next school year or year level, and their parents or a retired teacher may be involved from this kind of situation. Number 5, the youth development programs. The young may involve themselves in youth development programs and develop their skills and talents, learn how to deal positively with peers and adults, and serve as resources in their communities. Almost all of the community may have this kind of youth community program that all youth can participate, and through that the skills and talents of those individuals will be developed and enhanced. They will be influenced on how to deal with other people properly, and this can also boost the confidence and the leadership of the youth. The last one is the community service. A community service is an unpaid work performed by a person or a group of people for the benefits and betterment of their community without any form of compensation. Community service can be distinct from volunteering since it is not always performed on a voluntary basis and may be compulsory. An example of community service are students participating in tutorial programs, community reforestation programs, cleanup drive for a river, assisting in medical mission, school head involved in planning local celebrations, teachers managing programs, projects, activities, and school band playing in fiesta or parade. And by participating in this community service, we will practice to become disciplined individual in one society or in our community. Since we are finished in discussing the things that a community can do for schools, let us now go on to what can schools do for communities in return. The schools may allow the community to use school resources, and here are some concrete examples. Classroom used by community organization for meetings. If an organization consists of a lot of members, and since schools can cater a lot of people because they provide a lot of classroom and it is also have a big space, they can rather choose schools for the better meetings and to understand each other. Next one, and school use as a polling place and venue for medical mission, which it may co-sponsor with a rural health unit. And school used by the rural health unit for mother's class in child care. Next one is school use an evacuation center, and that is really true. And some school facilities used for community assemblies, correct? School-based court used for local celebration and barangay sports league. And also schools conduct livelihood skills training programs for parents and out-of-school use by using schools resources. Livelihood skills training for parents and out-of-school use by teachers themselves. So, schools really contribute a lot of things from the community, because schools, aside from the school is so big, there's a better place from this. That's why this can be also used for evacuation center and an education center. Basically, when we watch news, most especially when there is a disasters, schools is always there, and schools is always open to the needs of the community. But not only the needs, but it is also open for the celebration and barangay sports league. Now let's proceed to the learning from the experiences of schools and community partners. Now here are the concrete examples. In Dumigaga Central School, as you can see, there is a feeding program that provides the food to beneficiaries, and most of the time are the children. So, feeding program was maintained by the community donors, Mother Butler Mission Guild, barangay councils, office of the mayors, and parents who budgeted, cooked, or purchased. The next one is the Kiddie Cup program or classes. It is a CUPS lectures on good manners and right conduct, drug addiction, child abuse, and a child welfare. And the last one is the Municipal Welfare and Development Office. This Municipal Health Office conducted special classes, as you can see, on health and nutrition, the rights of the child. The second one is the Angel's Magic Spot, wherein they turn the small dump sites or the empty lots in the barangay to vegetable gardens from which members of the barangay could harvest for home supply. The school for their feeding program or sold them for cash for the purchase of seedlings and planting of more vegetables. So, in this case, hindi lamang yung school ang nakikinabang dun sa ginawa nilang vegetable garden, dahil bukod sa ginagamit nila ito for their feeding program or ibinibenta nila ito for purchase of seedlings and planting of more vegetables, nakikinabang din dito yung ating community, because barangay could harvest for home supply. And POMS brought together student, teachers, school head, parents, barangay officials, and other members of the community cleaned up little nooks for garbage and converted them into green areas with vegetables shared by all. It also taught gardening skills and positive attitude toward work to students and supplemented the feeding program for the underweight and the malnourished in the school, which is Project BOWLS, which means BOWLS. A brain operates well on loaded stomachs. Another effective practice was Project Revitalize Enthusiasm for Assistance to Children of Humanity, where each teacher adopted one student and acted as his or her mentor for the entire school year. So this means that ito ay tungkol dun sa a teacher will adopt one student at siya yung magtuturo dito for the entire school year. And the teacher gave free tutorial to the adopted students during his or her free time. So, magiging free or magiging libre ang pagtuturo into the adopted students if in the free time of the teachers. Visit the student's family every now and in some instances, gave the students a daily allowance of 10 pesos from the teacher's own pocket. One is BOWLS, means brain operates well on loaded stomach. So, in every recess, children who were selected by the school as BOWLS beneficiaries due to malnutrition were provided a free bowl of lugaw. So, myself is an example of beneficiaries that were provided a free bowl of lugaw, because on my elementary days, I always belong and I'm always on the list of the students who are malnourished and were provided not only a bowl of lugaw but a many bowl of lugaw. The last one is the Pera sa Panapon. It is a weekly trash market where students, their parents, and other members of the community were invited to bring their recyclable garbage to help the school purchase the necessary supplies and was able to support the two students according to the Pembo Elementary Schools to a 2010 math competition in Singapore.
Good day everyone, I am John Lloyd Alvareño, one of the reporters for today. In addition of Ms. Erica's report, I am going to discuss about the two bases of school-community partnership. First basis is the sociological basis. In this basis, the functionalist theory states that institutions must perform their respective functions for the stability of society. Other institutions must come in if one institution fails to do its part for the sake of society. So in school community partnership, different institutions must come together as a guide for learning process of the learners, not only to adopt but also to develop the strengths of every learner. The school cannot do it all. It takes a village to educate a child. So goes the African proverb. It has to work in partnership with other institutions in the community, such as the church, government organizations, and non-government organizations. With the breakdown of families, schools face greater challenge in educating the young. So what is stated by the African proverb? It takes a village to educate a child. Meaning, it's not all about school and family. It affects the learning process, but also the NGOs, government, and churches, and so on, is want to fill the hole and lessen the gap of society and the learners. Doon natin may papasok kung bakit ba kailangan ng partnership within these entities of our society. So that, for what? To build a safe and knowledgeable environment for every learners. And in this partnership, the both parties will have their own benefits. In the school, we have these benefits to enhance learning opportunities, to gain more resources and experiences for learners. The rearing education of the child is the primary obligation of parents. The school, the church, and the other social institutions come in to assist parents and families to fulfill their irreplaceable obligation. The breakdown of marriages, the demand for both mother and father to work to meet the needs of a rising cost of living, resulting to less or practically no more time for parents to spend time with their children have, however, attack the stability of families and have adversely affect families in the performance of their irreplaceable duty to educate the children. So, we all know that the education comes first in our home. The school is our second home to gain more knowledge. So, meron tayong nakakaharap na may mga bata na comes with the broken family. Paano natin yun masusolusyonan in order for them to learn without isolating themselves with their peers or their co-classmates? So that dito mapapasok natin sa school. Dito natin matuturo kung paano makipag-socialize within their peers na buong pamilya, and matuturuan din natin sila kung paano nila ma-boost up ulit yung kanilang motivation as a learner to develop their skills and their talents. Hindi natin may mga bata din na hindi na natututukan ng mga kanilang pamilya, so that yung sa kanilang pagiging nasa school ay dun nila na feel yung kanilang pagiging isang bata, dahil nga hindi sila na tututukan ng kanilang mga pamilya. So that the school and the community is a great part of a children or a learner, kasi doon nila ma-experience yung mga makakatulong sa kanila. And added to this is the increasing number of families composed of single mothers struggling to raise a family. So kung broken families, syempre may maiiwan na single parent, or mga single parent. With the burden of earning large solely on the shoulders of one parent, single parents struggle to earn enough to provide for their families. So, ano mangyayari doon? Magiging lack of resources ang mga bata. So, ano matutulong ng school and the community sa bata? Within the school, meron din silang makikita magamit na resources para magamit nila sa kanilang pag-aaral. And for the community naman, in their area, maaari silang makapagtanong sa kanilang mga elders for their learning. Marami silang matututunan with the elders, lalong-lalo na with the history of the Philippines or their own area. Consequently, this responsibility leads to their having a limited amount of time to spend for and with growing and developing children who or unfortunately become more likely single parent families themselves. The cycle goes on. So, sabi ko nga kanina, hindi nila matututukan ang kanilang mga anak dahil nga single parent na sila, tapos kailangan pa nilang mag-work. So, hindi nila matututukan ang kanilang mga anak within their education. So, napakalaking bagay talaga ng partnership with the school and community and the parents. So that kapag meron tayong communication with the parents, malalaman natin yung sitwasyon ng bata, and that's why doon natin malalaman kung ano yung kailangan ng batang ma-improve to be a better and responsible learner. This is not to mention the negative effect of uncontrolled and unregulated use of technology on the young. While the use of technology has brought a lot of convenience, its uncontrolled and unregulated use by the tech-savvy kids expose these kids to all sorts of information not necessarily favorable for their development. So families, schools, and other social institutions need to work together to save the youth. So, yun po. Within this school and community partnership, there are programs that will make learners a good example and make their own choices or develop their skills and talents despite of their challenges. So, in this technological era, marami na mga bata na gumagamit ng technology within their personal informations and personal allegations or issues are put in the social media platforms. So, hindi natin malalaman na may mga bata pala na ganito, ganyan na hook up sila sa mga social media platform na hindi nila alam na nakakakuha na sila ng maling information or nakakasakit na sila ng iba or nakikidalitot sila sa mga issues na di dapat naman nila pakalmanan na hindi naman relevant within their development as a learner. So, paano ito na solusyonan ng school and ng other institutions? So, yun po. Meron tayong tinatawag na, like for example, the community service. So, what is this community service? Community service is when the learners have to cooperate with the community in preserving or cleaning up their surroundings. Like for example, the clean-up drive. Ano nga ba ang matutunan nila within pag sumali sila sa clean-up drive? So they can appreciate more the surrounding, they can preserve the surroundings of the school area or the community area, and they will develop these social skills within their peers or within the community. And we have also these training programs. So in these training programs, they can display their skills and talents within the programs so that hindi sila mahuhook up with the technology na magiging silang tamad or magiging solusyon yung pagdala nila sa mga training programs para mas lalo silang maging responsible learners. And also in this school and community development or the partnership of school and community, it will help us to develop our curriculum. Dahil nga, mas naintindihan natin yung mga sociological aspects na nakakaapekto sa mga bata. We have to come up with the solution to cope up with these experiences of the child or with these challenges that the learners are facing, so that the school and community is a big part of the learner's learning process. Okay, let's move on for the legal basis for parents and community involvement. It is no wonder why even our laws support school-community partnership. Why is that? So that the learning and the education system in our country is well-rounded. Hindi lang siya sa isang institusyon nakabase, kundi sa lahat ng institusyon ng society ng bansa. So, in Republic Act 9155 or the Governance of Basic Education Act, Section E, explicitly states that one of the responsibilities of school heads is establishing school and community networks and encouraging the active participation of teachers, organizations, non-academic personnel of public schools, and parents, teachers, of community associations. Dito natin ma-encounter yung bakit nga ba may parent and teacher association within the school. Para din makapag-create ng isang community link within the school and the community. And yung PTA na yun para mag-raise ng concern or to provide programs for the learners. Yun po yung isang example within this RA 9155. Section 3 of the same act encourages local initiatives for improvement of schools and learning centers and to provide the means of which improvements may be achieved and sustained. So they have to create to develop or create local initiatives. Tulad na lang po ng donation of government funds or the establishing of learner centers to provide kung hindi man sila makapasok sa school, may mga learning facilities within the community na magtuturo sa mga bata. Okay. Batas Pambansa Bilang 232, otherwise known as the Education Act of 1982, Section 7 states that every educational institution shall provide for the establishment of appropriate bodies through which the members of the educational community may discuss the relevant issues and communicate information and suggestions for assistance and support of the school and for the promotion of their common interest. Representatives from each subgroup of the educational community shall sit and participate in these bodies the rules and procedures of which must be approved by them and duly published. So, tulad nga sinabi ko kanina, the learners, the education have, the school have these benefits with cooperating with the community. We have nakakaroon tayo ng limited ng mga resources, and the learners are gaining more experiences within the government and non-government facilities that they are attending to. So dito natin malalaman na mayroon tayong may mga nag-a-assist within the education system para sa ating mga learners. Yun po. And another law, Republic Act 8525, Adopt a School Program Act, also provides for school community partnership. It allows private entities to assist a public school, whether elementary, secondary, or tertiary, but not limited to the following areas: staff and faculty development for training and further education, construction of facilities, creating of existing facilities, provision of books, publications, and other instructional materials, and modernization of instructional technologies. So, dito rin nakapasok yung within the K-12 program. So, ang mga schools ay nakikipag-cooperate within the private sectors. Lalo-lalo na kapag may mga within the tracks of technical vocational tracks tulad ng EAM, BPP, and SMAU, they cooperate within the private sectors for the learners to gain more knowledge within their respective tracks within the program. So, yun po. Marami tayong ma-experience within the training and further education of what will give for the learners within the private entities. We can receive donations and to gain more resources by this law, Republic Act 8525. Even in the Philippine Education for All, or EFA 2015 plan, then a vision and a holistic program of reforms that aim to improve the quality of basic education for every Filipino by end 2015 likewise states schools shall continue to harness local resources and facilitate involvement of every sector of the community in the school improvement process. So, in this Education for All 2015 plan, schools have to harness local resources. So, dito, mas pinalalawag yung pagiging partnership ng school and community para mas makakalat tayo ng local resources para sa education system for the learners. This EFA 2015 plan was extended education for all beyond 2015, Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 has 7 new educational targets from 2015 to 2030 that must involve education stakeholders, which in essence is a school community partnership. So in this agenda 2015 to 2030, it is an involvement of all stakeholders in school and community so that it strengthens the partnership. UNESCO Assistant Director General for Education, Dr. Kian Tang, himself admits that Agenda 2030 cannot be realized without schools partnering with community. He said, "Our vision must be more aggressive, more committed, not just involving government, non-government agencies, but all stakeholders." So, maliwanag naman sinabi ni, according to Dr. Kian Tang, that the vision of the school cannot be attained without the partnership within the school and the community. So dapat talaga na to attain the vision of the school or the association of education, we have to collaborate with the community and its stakeholders. According to Republic Act 9155, the partnership between school and community also ensures that number 1, educational programs or projects and services take into account the interest of all members of the community. So, yun nga, to ensure that education, mga programs and projects are the same interest within the stakeholders. So, told na lang sa school and program. Ano nga ba? School and community. Ano nga ba mga programs na magkakaroon ng benefits ang parehas na institution? So, tulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, the training programs. Magkakaroon ng pakikipagkapwa-tao ang bata within the program kasi marami silang makakasalamuha din na makakakuha sila ng experiences within the program. Also the Brigada Eskwela. The parents and the barangay officials comes to school every program Brigada Eskwela to ensure the safety and the clean environment of the learners as the class started. Number 2, the schools and learning centers reflect the values of the community by allowing teachers or learning facilitators and other staff to have the flexibility to serve the needs of all learners. So, yung mga learning centers katulad ng schools, yung mga learning centers na tinayo, we have the teachers must be flexible na kailangan nilang ma-cope up yung para ma-cope up nila yung mga needs na dapat na kailangan ng mga learners, so that mag-work yung school and community partnership and the values that the learners will gain with this program na ganyan, program na ito. Number 3, local initiatives for the improvement of schools and learning centers are encouraged and the means by which these improvements may be achieved and sustained are provided. So schools and community function better when they work as a team. So it made us clearer that schools and communities function better when they work as a team. Hindi lang naman ang school ang makakontribute within this partnership, kundi ang community din. Kasi within this community and school, if the community help the school to maintain and sustain or develop students in their finest, makaka-contribute ang community by having graduates that will help the community to rise and to develop within the following eras or the constant future. Let's apply. Number 1, illustrate with the cartoon or a diagram the partnership between school and community. Number 2, develop a tool to evaluate the extent and quality of school and community partnership. Number 3, pretend you are an instructor or professor in this professional course. The teacher and the community, school, culture, and organizational leadership. Your lesson has this learning outcome to explain the sociological and legal basis of school and community partnership. How will you proceed? Deliver your lecture. And number 4, school and community partnership enhances sense of ownership and sense of belonging. What do this mean? How will this impact on schools and community? So, in school and community partnership, we can also say that it is a sense of belonging dahil we will ma-realize natin that we are a part of a whole. Hindi lang tayo within this entity, the school or the family, but also we are a part of a big society. How will this impact on schools and communities? It will impact the schools and communities by creating more and more knowledgeable students, more capable and knowledgeable students for the school and for the community. Takeaways: school and community partnership means school head, teachers, learners, parents of learners, and non-teaching personnel working together with civic and religious leaders, alumni, other parents, non-government organizations, government organizations for the good of children. The upbringing of children is the main and irreplaceable duty and responsibility of the family. But with the weakening influence of the family on the upbringing of children, and with children's unlimited exposure to modern technology like the internet, the challenge for the schools to teach the young has become even greater. So schools cannot do it all. They have to partner with community. In this partnership, children, the primary customers of schools, are most benefited, but school and community are likewise mutually benefited. Republic Act 9155, also known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of Batas Pambansa 232, which is the Education Act of 1982, Republic Act 8525, or the Adapt a School Program Act, and Agenda 2030 stipulate school and community partnership. So all these acts are stipulating or mas pinapatibay nila yung partnership ng school and community. There are many opportunities for school and community partnership. The Brigada Eskwela, which is now institutionalized in Deped schools, is a glaring proof of school and community partnership. Schools, with all its human and material resources, can offer services also to the community in many ways. So, as like I said earlier, school and community partnership has its benefits in both entities. So in school, we can have resources, local resources, and gain experiences of the learners. While in the community, and also for the school, the community can contribute for the curriculum development of the institution, and also the behavioral aspects of the children. And for the community naman is that they can use the resources of the school with para mas mapalawig nila yung kanilang area of distinction. Yun po. Let's check for understanding. Can schools take the place of families in the rearing of children? Why or why not? What sociological reality in the Philippines and in the world demand the schools partner with the community, church, mass media, business establishments, etc. for the education of the children? State the provisions of law that refer to the school-community partnership. And number 4, cite additional examples of school-community partnerships that benefit the young. Let's reflect. In what way am I involved in school and community partnership? What good have I done to school and community? What else can I do? Let clinchers. Number 1, which is true of a school and community partnership? A. Community helps school. B. School is a recipient of assistance from community. C. Both school and community benefit. D. Both school and community loss. Number 2, which program is a proof of school and community partnership, where every month of May education stakeholders contribute their time, talent, and treasure to ensure that school facilities are set in time for the school opening? Letter A. Parents and Teachers Association Assembly. Letter B. School Governing Council Annual Assembly. Letter C, Brigada Eskwela, and letter D, Palarong Pambansa. Which statement is true of school and community partnership? Letter A, elders in the community can be key informants of a research in local history. B, parents can help school only in terms of social facilities. C, donations from politicians are not accepted to prevent electioneering. And letter D, only school benefits from the partnership. It takes a village to educate a child. Which does this statement imply? Letter A, PTA is more than enough partnership. Letter B, institutionalized school-community partnership. Letter C, school can substitute for absentee parents. Letter D, children need more models. Then number 5, adopt a school program allows private entities to assist which schools? Letter A, public elementary schools. B, public secondary schools. C, public tertiary schools. And D, public schools in all levels. That's all for today. Thank you.